Hey guys, John here. How you doing? I've been watching this new show, a Disney Plus original series that goes by the name The Mighty Ducks Game Changers. As you might guess, this is sort of a sequel, spin-offy continuation of the original Mighty Ducks trilogy of movies, the Disney movies from like either the 80s or 90s. Now, full disclosure, I the reason I decided to watch this show isn't because I'm like a fan of or have some nostalgic attachment to the movies. I know about the movies. I saw at least probably one of them or two of them when I was younger, but I really can't say I have much memory of them. I know the basic plot. It's the kind of, underdog sports, movie like Bad News Bears with hockey. It's like, I don't know, it's like the episode of The Grim Adventures of Billy and Mandy with baseball or whatever. It's that classic, underdog sports story that's been done so many times before. Team not good, get a new coach, team gets better, blah, blah, blah. But the reason I did decide to check out this show is because I saw something online where somebody made a comparison between this show and the Netflix original series Cobra Kai, which is sort of a spin-offy continuation of the Karate Kid films. And I'm a big fan of that show, Cobra Kai, so I was curious to check this out. And pretty solid. The first three episodes have aired on Netflix, and I wanted to give my thoughts on those. The most recent one aired some point earlier today, this morning or something. Yeah, pretty solid show. So, like the show Cobra Kai, this is kind of like a shift in the sense where you had like in the original movies, you had the main character was the coach played by Emilio Estevez. Now he's moved into being a supporting character, and the main character is a new character played by Lauren Graham, who played Lorelai in the Gilmore Girls, and she was also on the show Parenthood. I enjoy her as an actress, and she's pretty good here. I can't say it's her strongest performance, but she's pretty solid. Once again, plays a single mother character. She has a son who is 12 years old. He's another one of the major characters, of course. And he's on the Mighty Ducks hockey team, which over the years has changed and become like a very intense, kind of like old-fashioned, almost kind of like, I don't want to say hyper-masculine, but just like this very kind of like tough as nails, high standards kind of team, And the kid is cut from the team. He's very good. He would have to be, I imagine, at least pretty good to get on the team in the first place, but he was cut from the team, this, junior hockey league, basically just because he wasn't quite good enough. The coach was very intense, told him, if you're not going to be quite good enough, then just don't bother. So his mom, played by Lauren Graham, they get the idea to start their own hockey team. So there's kind of this shift where, the Mighty Ducks were originally the underdogs, and now they're the big, intense, corporate team. So they start a new team, and the name they come up with is the Don't Bothers. Now the mom Alex, played by Lauren Graham. She doesn't know anything about hockey, so she kind of has to leave it up to the kid. And he recruits some people, friend, neighbor, some people at school, and it's once again kind of this whole underdog thing. It's like the whole underdog thing, like starting up again, basically, at a new team. And it does make me wonder why they're calling it the Mighty Ducks, since it's not about the Mighty Ducks so much. I mean, the Mighty Ducks are part of it, but it's more about the Don't Bothers. Although maybe there'll be a reason for that at some point in the future. And, yeah, it's a pretty solid show. We bring back this, Emilio Estevez, and his role, he's in a supporting role now, and his character is like the washed-up, grumpy guy, and he owns this ice rink that they end up using for their practice. And, they do some interesting stuff. So they're like, in the first episode, they're setting up this team. They had this one funny gag where they kind of subvert one of the cliches of those underdog-type sports movies, where one of the cliches in them is that you have this team that's not good, and they help improve it by bringing in somebody who is, like really talented, some kind of, like out there person who's not associated with the team, and they bring them in. And they bring this one guy to the team who they think, oh, he's going to be really good. He's cool, He's a cool guy. And then it turns out he's like, oh, yeah, by the way, I suck. So that was like a funny subversion of that whole cliche. Although, beyond some things that it kind of does stick to somewhat sports kind of story formulas like this. Yeah, I think, like I said, the actors are good. I think, like I said, Lauren Graham's pretty good. I think Emilio Estevez's character is the strongest. It's kind of like he's now like the like I said, he's the washed up kind of grumpy guy, and Emilio Estevez, plays the role well. Definitely brings a lot of kind of humor and life to the character, and you kind of feel for him. He's no longer associated with the Mighty Ducks for reasons that I don't know. Maybe I won't spoil them. I don't want to spoil too much. The strongest episode so far is definitely the third episode. That was the first one and two were kind of like okay, decent, and the third one was the first one. I'm like, okay, this is a good, solid, strong episode. In a sense, the show is something that's somewhat kind of meant for kids, maybe kind of a family show. The original Mighty Ducks was, Disney, so it's made for families, and this is mostly pretty appropriate for kids. I would say older kids. My sister is someone who enjoys the show, and she has her kids watching it, despite the fact that there's a little bit bad language. But it's mostly pretty appropriate, so if you have kids who are a little on the other side, they could probably watch it. Yeah, it's, pretty interesting. They have this whole thing where they're trying to form the team, get the team together, and it's like a team of people who a lot of them, like, haven't even played hockey before at all. So they have to try to learn, and, some of it you kind of know where it's going to go. Like I said, Emilio Estevez's character, he's, like, the grumpy guy who's not interested in helping them at all. He's just, like, he's letting them, use their ice rink because they'll pay him a lot, or they'll pay him enough, or whatever, and, slowly over time, he's going to warm up to them, and, lighten up, and he's going to, get more involved, and we saw, a big change in that in the first episode. We start to kind of, in the third episode, the most recent one, we start to kind of, learn more about him, and, it gets to a point where the show can be, it definitely has a certain, inspiring feel to it, where it has these kind of inspirational moments that are done well, but not in a way that's totally unrealistic. Like, basically, the third team, kind of gets, like, a good play from Emilio Estevez's character, and they score a single goal, and they're really excited just the idea of scoring, like, this single goal, which is a little funny, but then, genuinely kind of inspiring. It's like, it's their first real accomplishment, so you can kind of feel happy from the same time. Not the greatest show so far, but it's definitely one of those where it's like, it starts off not too great, but you can kind of see some potential with it. It's Disney Plus, so they air one new episode a week. Probably something like, I don't know, 8 to 10 episodes or something, and, per season. And, something I definitely could be watching. I watch it with my parents, and they enjoy it. Maybe they might enjoy it a little more than I do, but it's, pretty decent. I'm trying to think there's something else I want to say about it. There's this one story where there's a character, the main kid in the show, he has, like, this friend, a female friend, who is, on the Mighty Ducks team. That's how he knows her. And, he keeps trying to kind of get her to leave the team. Because, she's really good. So, she'll help his team out. And, basically, he kind of feels like she doesn't fit in with him because she's kind of a nicer person. She's intense, but she's, like, a nice person, and, they're not very nice. So it kind of deals with some of the same themes of, like, Cobra Kai, which is where I get to the similarities about kind of, like, letting go of some of that kind of, like, really intense, kind of ideas, like, old-fashioned ideas revolving around kind of things in sports, and trying to kind of be just kind of kinder people, in a sense. That's all the most original stuff ever, but, Cobra Kai does in a way that's more clever and more interesting, but this has some of that. It's done pretty well. Third episode ends the nice moment, where it's like, kind of gives you kind of a feel-good kind of feeling, and makes you be like, yeah, I want to see more. So, solid show so far. I'd give it a mild recommendation. And, I don't know, maybe I'll talk about it at some point in the future. So have you seen it? If so, let me know your thoughts, leave a comment down below, and, or, I don't know, reply on Twitter or whatever, and, if you enjoyed this video, give it a like, comment, subscribe to the channel, check out my other videos, and, I'll get that Victorious review out eventually. Yeah, so, that's all I gotta say. Thanks for watching, and bye.